Hello, welcome. Starting a new world today, and it's another small one. Godzilla is back with Leaftorio Space Age, in which Leaf automates orbital logistics, complex and easy. Version 1.0, alright? So, this same author also made Leaf's Flying Fortress and Adventurer. One room in here. This is the only room. Space elevator, right, okay. So, I think I already know what this is about, without even having first seen the room layout, and now that I see it, it more or less confirms it. So the goal is there. If you hear thunder outside, that's because there's thunder outside. I'm here. Yeah, room count is 1. Okay, so we're setting up some sort of assembly line to send something to space. How many things is this? Is that 15? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16, right, maximum stack size. I can't count with my mouse because as soon as I move it to another tile, a tooltip disappears. There have been a number of times that I've wanted to do that, but I think having it go away on mouse movement is more valuable than being able to do that. So I'm just going to skim here and get a quick count. So that's 16 times... Yeah, okay. However many this is. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 256 blocks total right here, okay? Height limit in this game is a complicated thing, and that's what this, this is a mechanic we have not seen so far. Technically it's a mechanic, it's more like a safety mechanism. When I put this into the game, I specifically requested that puzzle authors not use this as a mechanic, and of course, somebody would take that as a challenge. Godzilla wasn't even the first one to do this, just the first world that was actually published. So anyway, this is the monster block. Are you the only one? Probably. First of all, what can I interact with? Before I even talk about what I know to be the way this puzzle's gonna have to end. So I have to walk here and awaken you, and you... You're already awake. Yeah, okay, so 2 things awakened on my first step. By the way, I have not played Factorio, but I do understand the name reference. You awaken. You stepped there and died, but not before pushing this. Okay. So at this point, I don't think I've had any options. I'm going to assume this was a move order thing. That particular multi-push block couldn't have been pre-placed here. It needed to be earlier in the move order than all of these. So you are multi-push block 1. I'm just going to mark that just in case it matters, because I have a strong feeling it's going to. So that's my moves fast mark. So I mean, I had the option of like waiting and moving backward, but none of those seem to mean much of anything right now. Okay, so now I have choices. I can step north. Doesn't look like it goes anywhere of interest. I don't think that's what I'm doing, because I just get trapped after killing that one statue and nothing else happens. So instead, go here. This might actually be more or less an automatic level just to demonstrate the concept that is meant to be demonstrated here. Because again, if you don't already know what's happening, I mean I do because I implemented the behavior, but like, if you don't, this is going to be completely inscrutable. So I suspect this is just setting up an automatic machine that's going to do something real fancy. So here I have choices. No, not yet. I still have to do just the one thing. What else is happening? Why are these things doing what they're doing? This is just setting up a road for me to go around here. Is the order of this block important? I don't think so. That's just to, like, insulate the green triangle. Maybe. We'll see where this one ends up. Multi-push block JF. Where will Jeff go? Still can't go anywhere. I could hop... Actually, I was placed down here, so I can't continue. Alright, Jeff is there. Speedy Boy is here. Yeah, since this was marked as easy, I do feel like everything is just gonna happen automatically here. Here's the goal. So, how does the machine start? Not like that. Statue awakens, I go here, statue who awoken? Awakened. You. What's there? Iron fence. That's just another one of these strips along here, okay. This is all fence and tile floor. Okay, so you are continually pushing that southward. You're continually pushing that entire row eastward. Why is it not making it there right now? Fences are how tall? Infinitely. That's why. Yes, a fence goes all the way up to the limit because yeah, this push otherwise would succeed and go on that block. I don't have a thing where you can stand on a block that's on a fence? Clearly not, because those aren't making it. So if a... hold up. This is surprising to me. I'm gonna save for a moment and go to the editor, which will take me to this world that has a bunch of scribbles from things. So if I have this simple setup here of, let's say, sure, wooden and iron fence, just they are not different. Mechanically, those are identical. Just to have one of each. If I'm here, I can't walk on this? I can't walk on this. Okay. So putting a block on top of a fence does not truncate its height. I mean, that makes sense. Why would it? For some reason, I expected it to, though. Okay. So, don't worry about that. That's how the mechanic works. Anyway, so final statue maybe awakens. I can hop down here and not do anything other than die, so let's not. This is going to open a way over there. So clearly that's where I'm going. If I would walk backward, what kind of mischief could I get up to? I could break the machine by doing that. Let's assume I don't want to. Here is poison, not for me, that's for statue. Here is poison, not for me, that's for statue. Yeah, so I think all of this traversal mostly is for the purpose of statues waking up. Somebody's gonna hit that at some point. This will go away. Speedy thing is there. Jeff is here. Speedy thing gets pushed if I do that. Do I do that yet? Just seeing if I have any other options. I don't see any. Other than maybe I could stand here if I want. So you slide onto that, which did what? Two things came down. Then two different things came down. Ah, then you're getting pushed over here. So not for statue, but for... right, so you slid, and then had hang time so the statue could push you. Right, this is why you want to be before anything else. I mean, you were gonna be anyway. Yeah, 298, that's after all of the... yeah, so all push blocks go before any monsters. Somebody pushed... okay, so this lowered that. So statue I can move the monster block a little bit. Okay, gotta look at multiple things and go one turn at a time. So this went here, got pushed by statue N during its hang time. This went here, got pushed by statue H during its hang time. So it redirects to there. Monster block is now here, entering the system. No. Part of a different cycle. Alright, so this slid there, closed that. It opened again. So opening and closing that doesn't seem to do anything. I feel like I'm standing in the right place. I'm out of the way. Just observe. What did this do? It brought that downward. Okay. So, monster block is back in place here. Something big moved, hold on. Ah, this is able to get pushed now because that's no longer solid. So after all of that happens, statue E... Really, statue E can... No, that door has to come down first. Okay, the door comes down, then E pushes. I'm like, it can't push from up there, no. Interesting, so hold up. I'm going to take a little detour here once again. Not this room, I want to be here. And if I would do... If I'd make a stack here, like that. Yeah, so even higher up I can still... Okay, so that's a way to have an elevated block that you push but can't step into the space of. Okay, I'm seeing puzzle potential here. Anyway, where am I? I'm here. Sorry for all the interruptions, but I'm curious about stuff. Right, that was only connected to a toggle switch that has now fallen. Okay, so things are cycling around. During this turn, that gets shoved to the left. Okay, what are the implications of this? First of all, what does the next turn do? That goes here and gets pushed that way, so there's a little back and forth ratcheting action between statues D and E. D gets unlocked. Sorry, E gets unlocked. D cannot push because of the infinitely tall fence stopping these stacks of blocks from moving. E currently cannot push because it's too high to reach. So E goes down and gains the ability to push. All of that goes this way. Monster block's still here. Where's... okay, so green thing is here. Where's Jeff? Jeff is there. Jeff doesn't do anything. This is doing something. That's gonna go here. Affecting your position. No, that affected it. Okay, on this turn, nothing's happening other than you're moving. Okay. So I think I've seen enough of that. The next interesting thing that happens is next time that pressure plate is pressed. Or this one. Yeah, these together. So upper left of this is the spot to watch. Until then, Monster Block just cycles around. Oops. Alright, so a left move here happened. Another one of these was pulled off. The bottom. So wait, where's that... Where did that come from before? So the bottom row is slowly getting peeled back. Each peel moves one there, then you advance to the right. Why is that happening? Is one of these stacks getting taller? That one got shorter by one. Somewhere a stack is being built, or is about to start being built. Okay, so something in this queue reached this point. Aha! So you'll join the monster block somehow. How will that happen? So two things are rotating around here now. There we go, monster block was stacked! And now this whole stack will rotate around and gain another item on it. Okay, so this is the launch pad right here, this block barrier. Everything's on a block barrier, of course it is. Okay, so yeah, the launch pad is here. Let me just mark it so it's a little more visible. Oops. The orange flames on the launch pad. Sure. Okay. There we go. Stack to height 3. So yeah, something gets pulled out of the buffer here, added to the assembly line there, and shoved onto the bottom of this stack. So, this will repeat indefinitely. At this point I'm going to hold the wait button, and we see this tower growing and growing. There's no easy way to count how many items it is, so I know the answer. This needs to reach... Wait, how... I need to manually terminate this at some point, or maybe when this runs out of the appropriate number of things, something will happen. So, the number of items on this stack needs to grow to 230. That's gonna take a bit. I'm going to save some time by doing this. This is the sound of a rocket launching. That's what it sounds like. And yeah, no way to count from here, but I know there are 256 here. So when this starts looking sorta close to empty, something will change there. Yeah, this doesn't fit in the tooltip, so I can no longer tell whether the monster block is there or not, which is unfortunate because that's something I need to know about, but I don't really get to. So watch this spot. Let's see, when will I see something coming down from... I guess this stack? Yeah, that stack, now I can see the top of it. Sometimes, when it's not obscured by this ridiculous stack. Okay. This is a pretty cool process to just sort of watch and see it do its thing. Sorry, this is a space elevator. No rockets are involved. Mechanical ascension. All of these spheres are balanced absolutely perfectly on top of each other. There's no wind, or if there is, the spheres just magically counterbalance themselves. Alright, so here went an advance of statue D, because that pile ran out. We're about, like, 60% of the way there, maybe a little more. A space elevator would take a while to do its work. I'll give a technical explanation of what's going on at the end of this. So at this point, how many is left? Still enough that this has not reached height 230 yet. That's at like 210 or so, a little more. .230 may have happened right about now. So how is this process going to terminate? Also, what move number am I at, I'm wondering? 2168, okay. Alright, let's put this back on normal. So, let's see here. This little shove back and forth is going to resolve soonish, and what will that mean? This statue is no longer pushing east. Except when it gets pushed west. Okay, so what happened? So statue B escaped. You are the kill switch. Statue B escaped because it's always been wanting to move and it's faster than D and E. Until then there was a multi-push block here being pushed into that fence preventing it from moving. So now... yeah, you were always there. Okay. So that's on the hot coals now. It dies. These two proceed. Okay, and somebody... This is the actual kill switch for all of the statues, so all statues who are not already in the process of dying have died. There we go. Yeah, so that monster block that was up there, it's not up there anymore. It's gone. Alright, room is cleared. So, I have some explaining to do. That's fine. First, I want to try something. I'm going to... Road clear, yes. I'm going to watch this and press the skip to end button and see how long it takes. Just over 2 seconds. Pretty good. Okay, I wonder how that was before I did my big optimization. Probably worse. Maybe not worse by too much because bum bugs aren't involved. And sleeping statues aren't except for the first part of the room. Anything that makes, like, line of sight checks would slow that down a lot. Blocks just have to check for things directly next to them that they're in contact with. Okay, so, to explain what happened here. The height of every entity is stored as an 8-bit integer. An 8-bit unsigned integer can only go up to a value of 255, so 0 to 255 is what like, those are all of the values that are representable as the height of an item. So during the development of this game, an idea popped into my head where I was thinking, what actually happens if height overflows? So I made a room in the editor that was just this was before stacks existed. It was just a big rectangle of multi-push blocks and one little elevation mechanism in the corner. And fortunately, 24 by 16 rooms are large enough to fit 256 pushable blocks in there. So I took my time and manually stacked up 255 blocks, and when I added the 256th, the game crashed. So it did a stack overflow because things were... there was a recursive call somewhere in my handling of block movement that was not ever resolving because a value overflowed and I got a 0 where I expected one more than 255. That is one more than 255 if your integer is 8 bits. Anyway, so while I could have changed the data model of the game to use more bits per integer for representing height, you know, then the game crashes at 65536 height. So, you know, that's just moving a problem downstream. Could use a 32-bit integer and you could never get to that. But I like data efficiency, and nothing should ever need to be at such a ridiculously high height. So I thought a better failsafe for this specific situation was that if any push block... I wonder if there's still a way to break this. I think there's not, because there's no way to stack a monster on a monster unless it's on a block. If any push block is above height 230, which gives it a pretty decent buffer just in case there's some stuff on it. If any push block is at a height of 230 or above, it just disappears. It gets sucked into space as this thing was sent to space, and doesn't exist anymore. And yes, if that block is a monster block, the room will be cleared on that turn. If all the statues had died right at 229, and the 230th happened with just the monster block as the only monster in the room, you would hear the room clear chime and know what had actually happened. Because this tooltip can't fit 230 items, you can't actually see what's on the top, so it's listed bottom to top. AP is the one on the very bottom. Yeah. Anyway, so that's how that mechanic works. Not meant to be a mechanic, but anything that is behavior in a puzzle game is a mechanic. Why am I here? Because my move count is on and I don't want it to be. Okay, so cool. That's Leaftorio Space Age, a demonstration of some silly thing that happens. And you can't even tell when the monster block goes away because it's not the last thing that disappears. The only way you would know is if it was the last monster in the room. Anyway, yeah, so cool demonstration of a concept and just a tiny little world for it. And I'm glad this exists. Even though I'm not super happy about the mechanic, it's fine. You can't realistically use it in a real room. I'm gonna give you another one. I'm going to say, please don't use this, and somebody will. Because officially I'm okay with that. You can only carry 99 of each key. So you could have some situation where you're led through something that puts 99 keys in your pocket, and it's impossible to pick up a 100th one. Leaf will just walk right over top of it. And then there could be some sort of puzzle where you really need to pick up a key for, what, opening 100 doors? Like you don't have access to the other thing? So that's like the other mechanic that I know about of this sort, where like, due to, this wasn't even an integer limit, this was due to a UI limitation, because putting 3 digits here wouldn't fit, and I don't want to change the layout of everything, and, you know, do a special handling for a 3-digit thing. So yeah, little concessions like that sometimes have to be made, and that's another one of a similar vein to this. As far as I know, that one hasn't been used in a world yet, but probably by the time I'm done with this process, it will have been. Anyway, cool. So that's the space program, and next time we'll do something else. I'll see you then.